Tool Procast, brought to you by the International Institute of Sewer and Pipe Cleaning, where you can send your technicians to a 2-day course, get them certified as a drain cleaner, and trained by the best in the business. You can visit those guys at www.sewerinstitute.com. I am your co-host, Mike Sekach, and with me, as always, my man Eric Boonstra, and our lovely producer this way, other way, Emily Simmons. Guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Doing good, Mike.
Hey, so before we get started here with our special guest from the UK, I want to give a shout out to Shelly Brown. Shelly Brown with Spartan Tool is celebrating her 20th anniversary today. Shelly, thank you. Yeah.
20 years. 20 years?
That's amazing because she's only 35.
She must have started here when she was 10 or 12.
Labor laws.
Shelly, thank you again for everything that you do at Spartan. I know our customers appreciate it. We certainly do too. So, and with that, I'm going to toss it over to you. Why don't you talk about and recap episode 4 for us? We had a great episode last week.
We sure did. We had Brian Elliott, Spartan Tool Territory Manager, on with us, and he talked about what he loves about the job, what he loves about his customers. It was a really great episode, so be sure to check that out. It's on our Facebook page, or it's also on YouTube, so you can see it there.
Awesome. Brian, thanks again for being our special guest last week. So today is a very special episode. We have Mark Cox from Rioned in the UK joining us to talk about everything that's going on in the EU right now. We're going to highlight some van packs and get to meet a great guy. One thing that's very special about Spartan Tool, if you don't know, is that we are a family-owned and operated business. And under our parent company's umbrella, we have great companies like Rioned that's across the globe that helps us and supports us. These guys have completely dominated the European market with jetting. And with the help of Spartan Tool, we're doing it here in the States. So without further ado, one of my good buddies and Eric Boonstra's good buddies, Mark Cox, welcome to the Procast.
Afternoon, evening, and hope you're all well.
There he is. All the way from the other side of the pond.
Yeah. It's great to be on with you guys again and see you all again. It's been a while.
Well, yeah. Too long. Too long.
Absolutely.
As usual. Well, hey, welcome. We're glad you're here with us today.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So we'll get started. Mike and I, obviously, we all know each other real well, but many people probably don't. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Mark. I'm based here in Norfolk in the UK. We're about an hour and 15 minutes outside of London, so sort of pretty close proximity to the capital. Married with 3 kids, fell into this sewer industry several years ago, and love every minute of it. And and it's very, very addictive, and it's kind of become something I'm real passionate about. And spending time working with you guys as well and seeing how you do things across the pond it's been real good. So that's really it about me.
Well, hopefully you didn't literally fall into the trade, but how did you manage to work yourself into the trade?
So my background's always been logistics and warehousing. I've always sort of dealt with that, shipping, goods in, goods out and stuff. And then there was a position around about 12 years ago now within Rioned UK, and at the time they'd just sort of stepped out into being their own entity. For years in the UK, they'd been sort of a franchise model and distributed by a very well-established company, Ward's Flexible Rods. So when they decided to go it alone a little bit, they needed someone to take over the stores element, and that's kind of when I fell into it. So my first 2 weeks with the company was spent in the Netherlands, at Tilburg, where our head office is. And there it kind of really opened my eyes to what, we were about as a company. So I spent two weeks under the sort of tutelage of some very, very experienced people over there. So I learned everything about the machines, how they work, how they go together, and why we do things the way we do. So from that point, I sort of come back to the UK, spent about 4 years setting up a customer service role and teaching myself how to fix and fit these things. Because we was quite a small team in the UK. We also kind of had to multitask and learn each other's jobs. So I kind of sort of taught myself a lot about everything, and with the support from my team in the Netherlands. we just went down that route, and we started to establish ourselves as a pretty dominant force in the UK. And then about 6 years ago, I got involved or asked to get involved with the sales side of things. And I've never been involved with sales, never really had any sort of desire to get into sales, but kind of fell into it through some circumstances. And, thanks to a few people in the Netherlands who kind of saw a bit of potential in me and put me forward. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. So yeah, I've been with the company be 12 years on September the 1st. And, it only feels like yesterday. I still remember my first day with the business like it was yesterday. So
Awesome. Well, obviously we all, we're all in this, find ourselves in the midst of this pandemic situation. And I know you, Mike, and I have talked, and you guys are locked down there, and the news is, told everybody, what's going on with Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and thank gosh that he's recovering and he's doing good. And but how have things affected you and your business as it relates to the pandemic over there?
So it kind of affected everyone overnight, because we obviously, we're a few weeks behind what was going on in Europe, and we've working quite closely with a lot of my colleagues, especially in the Netherlands where Rioned's head office is based, but obviously having sort of colleagues and contacts all around Europe, we kind of knew what was coming to the UK, just following what's happening in Europe. But essentially overnight, when Mr. Johnson announced we was going into lockdown, pretty much every business shut. All the pubs, restaurants, hotels, which probably accounted for 60% of the business in the UK, literally shut down overnight, grounded. So a lot of customers have had to diversify and really adapt, and it was quite a sudden change to everyone. We're quite fortunate with our customer base. Our demographic is quite wide. We supply everyone from utilities companies who are classed as key workers, so have to keep working, because obviously with people being under these sort of quite stringent lockdown measures, the sewer network in the UK is under increased pressure because everyone's at home, and they're home 24/7.
Yeah.
So a lot of the utilities companies we supply have seen a huge uptake in work, and a lot of our contractors are now sort of getting works ready for when eventually we do come out of this lockdown, whenever it may be. So yeah, I literally overnight massive change in the way everyone works, and the same for us. As a salesperson, we like going out and seeing people. We like demonstrating our equipment. We like talking about it and seeing people's reactions to it. But overnight, we had to stop that. So we had to find sort of new ways of getting our products out there. And we're lucky. Rioned as a brand name is very strong, but people still want to see it. So we've taken to things like Skype calling, Microsoft Teams, handovers via FaceTime, and just trying to be as flexible and creative as we can to support our customers at the end of the day, because that's what we're here for.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Mark, you've definitely spent your fair share of time over here in the States supporting us when this partnership came together. And then you've been to the Wet Show, I think, 4 or 5 years now in a row. So again, we thank you for that. But I got a chance to spend a week over in the UK with you, and going over to Holland and seeing the production over there. And what a first class company, first rate company that Rioned is. But it was kind of eye-opening for me, because things are a little bit different over there than what our sewer and drain cleaners are doing here. So describe the drain cleaning business in Europe, and really, what is your specialty?
So I suppose in Europe, it's the same wherever you go in the world. Pipe sizes are pipe sizes, and stuff that goes down the drain is the same. Just in Europe, there's a real big focus on being compact and being very efficient, and I think that's a word you'll hear me say quite a lot when I'm talking to people about Rioned. We like to be very efficient. We don't like to waste fuel. We don't like to waste water. We want to get the most out of that machine. We don't want real big horsepower engines running when they're not needed. So what you find with a lot of our products is that they're thought out and they're designed, by some really, really clever people for a reason. Everything kind of goes hand in hand, down to having our own type of hose specifically designed for our machines, drilling out the nozzles certain sort of point of a millimeter to get the most amount of water out of that machine. And that is what has become synonymous with the Rioned brand is efficiency. You know, we've got smaller machines that can jet bigger diameter sewers, because in the UK, everyone jets. It is, you know, jetting machines and vacuum units now, which are seeing quite a big boom in and rise in popularity. So what people want to do is try and get the most powerful machine in the smallest footprint to obviously keep their vehicle weight low, which then in turn increases fuel efficiency, you know, driving restrictions with licenses. So we try and keep everything as efficient and as small and compact as possible.
Well, we love the model, and that's why we've had Eric Boonstra kind of spearhead this project for us with these all-in-one van packs.
Yeah.
You know, we highlight them at the show. We usually have a Transit in our booth with an Urban Series jet in there, and then all of our drain cleaning equipment, our cameras. I mean, how great is it to go out to a job and you don't have to run back to the shop to grab the jetter or grab a camera or grab a 1065, whatever. So Eric's been doing a great job with these van packs here. And, you know, the Urban Series, since we launched that with Rioned, I mean, it's been a humongous success here in the U.S., you know, especially our Urban Soldier. I mean, that thing is a tiny unit with a humongous punch, right? So tell us a little bit about the Urban Soldier. What can you highlight on that?
So the Urban Soldier, I mean, what you find a lot, and an observation I made when I first started working with you guys and spending a bit of time in the States, before I went over, you know, I'd done a bit of research and everything was big. You know, bigger was better. Bigger engines, bigger horsepower, bigger pumps. Everything was big. And I remember saying to a few of the guys at the Indianapolis show, probably 3-4 years ago, when I first went, that eventually some of this European mentality would start to creep through as more European type manufacturers enter the US market. Luckily for Spartan, they were the first people to really have a complete range of van packs from us or available to them, which would cover everything. So we started off with the Ultimate Urban Warriors, you know, the high flow units. But then there was a desire about 2 years ago, I think, for a small compact unit to fit in the side of a vehicle. And the Urban Soldier is a system that we've been, you know, producing and selling for years. So it made sense that it would still work in the US. So for a machine with a really small footprint, you can get a huge amount of performance. So 3,000 PSI, 10 gallon a minute, 260 foot of hose, 210 gallon water tanks, which are expandable, you know, radio remote control system, all in such a real small sort of compact footprint, made it a real sort of, it's a real powerhouse of a unit while being, you know, very, very compact. So you can have what we, again, going back to efficiency, have one vehicle can tackle everything. You can have your camera, your patch lining, your high-speed Picote type machines. You know, you can have everything on one vehicle because you're keeping your weight down of your overall vehicle payload and also the space. So yeah, the Urban Soldier it's a real big unit for a small footprint. And you know, we've got customers doing drains 9, 10, you know, 12-inch pipes quite comfortably with that, again, because of the efficiency and the way they're built and designed.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right in the head. I mean, all those specs are something that kind of perks my ears up as a licensed plumber, right? I mean, to have something in such a small footprint that I can do everything for. And that's one thing that we're trying to, you know, jump this hurdle is, you know, it's like the 300 machine that we have. You know, guys are still a little suspect that it's not going to clean a main line till we get out there, you know, because this is America, Mark. I got a huge truck behind me. We got a huge trailer, big jets everywhere. We want everything big, you know. So the mentality, you know, we're trying to tackle that and change that a little bit. Let's see. So, you know, one thing with Europe, and I've always said this, is it kind of seems, and I hate to be a very proud American and say this, but I feel like the European market has been so far ahead of us and so far advanced in the sewer and drain cleaning business, right? Well, not so much sewer and drain cleaning, but, you know, look at sewer liners. You know, what, 40 plus years or so you guys have been doing liners, and it's only been big here for about 15 years. Look at what Picote has done, you know, and the great partnership that we have with them now. I mean, it's amazing. So, you know, when I was over in Europe, it was just strange to me to go and visit your customers and see that it's all jetting.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't see cable machines at all. It is van packs. It is you know, trailer units. But it was definitely was definitely different to see. And then the engineering, I mean, the remote that you guys have and the control box is just absolutely incredible. You know, it looks like a Tesla unit, right? You know, if I can dare to say a Tesla unit, it looks intimidating, but it is super easy to navigate. Yeah, the remote is very easy. The control box is easy. And again, you touched to it is the engineering and the great team that you guys have there. And I mean, same thing here. It's just great to be such a part of a great sister company like you guys. So with that, what do you think sets Rioned and Spartan apart from any competition out there?
Again, I think it goes down to people. So, you know, the mentality between both businesses is exactly the same. We're here for our customers. So we've got really, really good people, you know, and I'm really fortunate with my colleagues and you know, friends that I've got in the Netherlands where all this stuff is produced, having to kind of work at a grassroots level for the business, you know, starting literally at the bottom, working my way up to where I am now. You know, I've been able to see every single department we've got. And do you know what? We've got some absolutely, you know, geniuses work for us. You know, we call these, you know, these machines are so out there that when people see them, you know, sometimes they can be a bit intimidated by it. You know, you see the digital control panel, the remote control, you know, you can start this machine and stop it on its own, small engines, you know, capacity reserve stuff. And people sometimes can be a bit intimidated by that. But actually, once they use it and see how easy it is and how good it can be, you know, that's what sets us apart. You know, the people first, and then the products. You know, because ultimately everyone is passionate about this stuff, this project. You know, I'm really, really in a really good position in a fortunate position with the company, like our little jet vac units. You know, my company let me have a hand in designing that, and you know, almost give me a blank canvas, and we went and done it. So you know, that's what I think sets Rioned and Spartan apart from everyone else. That the ideas of the people who are building this stuff, selling it, using it, get put into the design process. You know, and if we've got an idea on how to make something better or improve it, we can feed that back and it will be done. You know, the freewheel device on the high pressure hose reels, that come from one of our engineers. You know, and that's what we've got, people who are passionate about what they do and how we do things. And you know, it's an unstoppable force when you've got people like that within the business. And yeah, it just makes it easy, very easy.
Well, and I love it, Mark. So we're 5 episodes into the Procast now, and we've had vendors, we've had partners, employees on here, and every single week that's the message is the people, right? Yeah. It's the Spartan Advantage, it's the Rioned Advantage. You know, I think when we're 120 episodes into this, each episode we're going to probably talk about it. So it's just a different model. It's very unique. And again, I think we're all proud to wear that crest of that R and that Spartan on our shirts here.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I've seen it firsthand. You know, they say the US market and the European market is quite different, and you know, in some respects, it is in terms of, you know, the US market has been dominated by you guys with the cable machines, but ultimately, all the people that we've got, you know, are real passionate about the products. And I've seen that firsthand, you know, when I've been at the wet show, you know, and speaking to customers and online forums, and you know, social media is a real good place to see what people think of products, you know, both good and bad, and you know, and we're really fortunate that, you know, we see it all and take it all in.
Well, I think it comes from leadership as well. I mean, straight from the top of our parent company, and you know, for me, I personally know the president of Rioned, Jan Peters, and Kevin Walsh here at Spartan Tool. These are 2 individuals that have no problem throwing work boots on and getting out to see a customer. I think right now Kevin is kind of itching with the quarantine right now. He's going to be ready to get out and get in some ditches and see some customers. So again, it all goes back to people and leadership, and you know, we're all proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Hey, Mark, you and I have had this conversation several times. But you know, Mike touched on the van packs and the complete, you know, the turnkey systems. But as that relates to rentals, and I know the rentals aren't your real, you know, your roundhouse, but rentals over in the UK are huge. Talk a little bit about the advantage of maybe going through a rental before committing to it, you know, or the reasons that you see more people doing the rentals over there, maybe versus here. What are your thoughts on all of that?
So with the rental model, it serves two purposes. One, I think at the moment we've got 50 something vehicles on our fleet. And the UK is quite small compared to the US, but we've got about 50 something, maybe a few more vehicles on there. But what we see is a lot of times where contracts are dished out, they may only be for a year or 2 years, which probably doesn't justify the purchase of a piece of equipment or a capital piece of plant. So the advantages with that, or with the rental program, is a customer can literally phone up, get a piece of premium equipment. Sometimes we've got it in stock, sometimes we haven't, but pretty quick turnaround, and literally be out working instantly without any real financial burden. And they've got the luxury of either being able to extend the hire or return it if they need to. But the other side of that is Rioned, the Rioned and Spartan products are premium products. There's no way around it. We're top of the tree. We're a premium product, and sometimes people might want to see why they're paying that money and what they're getting. And we often get people hire equipment and fall in love with it, never want to send it back, and end up buying. So it serves a purpose from a sales point of view, but also from an operational point of view. And a lot of the time as well, if accidents happen, if a vehicle gets stolen or it's involved in an accident, customer might need something quickly. So that's where the rental program comes in. They can literally phone up, get a vehicle, and we've got in the UK, we've got two sites, one in the south of the UK and one in the north. So geographically, we're covered. We've got two service agents, one who covers Scotland and one who covers Southwest. So we're literally spread across the whole of the UK. So yeah, that's how the rental fleet kind of the model operates. And they're complete vehicle, jetting machine, fully converted, ready to go packages. All the customer needs to do is insure it, and away they go.
And so if I've never jetted, if jetted's not part of my business, am I going to break even on a rental? Am I going to make money on a rental? I mean, what do you tell somebody if they ask that question?
Thing is, it's like with any rental sort of vehicle. If you go and rent a car or a dumper, the shorter the term, the higher the price. You're paying for a sort of convenience element. But a lot of the time with our customers, we're a very flexible company. If a customer takes a vehicle and they need it for 6 months and decide they want to buy, then obviously we're gonna take care of them. But I think with the way a lot of these contracts, especially in the UK, work, I think with customers, they don't really get too much notice. A lot of tender processes will go out, and then they could get awarded contracts on a Wednesday, and then they've got 21 days to mobilise. So they kind of will schedule in the rental rate into their tender process or their the contract charges or what they charge. So customers will always make money by using good equipment. And then again, this is what we kind of goes back to the whole efficiency thing. With our stuff, you don't need to spend as long on site jetting because of the efficiency, the way the machines work. So, people who do typically hire Rioneds, I think we've got a very, very good strike rate from people who hire him and end up buying one, or hire them and never want to sort of return it. They'll just keep hiring it until they need to take a new one.
Yeah. So definitely, there's really no better way to find out if that particular segment of the business is for you. There's no real risk, and there's if you plan it right, there's definitely money to be made above and beyond what you're paying for the rental.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with capital outlay. I know you guys do it, and we do a lot of offering finance packages. But it could be you're a new startup. You may have a plumbing company, because another thing that I found in the US, you've got plumbing companies and you've got drain companies, whereas in the UK, a lot of plumbers will get involved with drains. And drainage guys will do plumbing. So you might find you've got a plumbing company who just want to get involved with drains. So it might be something they don't really know if it will take off, and they can rent a machine, go see what they can earn, see what their potential is, and if it doesn't work out, well, they haven't committed anything. If it does work out, we've got a customer for life, and
Right.
That's how it works. It's a real, it's a flexible approach to having the very best equipment, quickly and instantly, and it's one that's proved very successful for us.
Right. Well, Brian Elliott couldn't get enough of being on last week, so he's popped a question in for you today here. Brian's asking what the advantages of a van pack over a cart or trailer unit are, and of course, in Europe, everybody knows, like you said, smaller is there's reasons for it. There's more efficiencies and with trailers, but in a very broad or general sense, what would you say the advantage of a van pack over a cart type jetter or a trailer pull behind? What would you say the advantage of the van pack is?
So, I mean, in the UK, we don't, the trailers aren't very popular for two reasons. One is or the main one is towing licenses. You have to have a separate license to tow a certain weight trailer. So a lot of people, if they're going to go down that route, they'll get a HGV license and will take a small jetpack. The other thing is just geographical position. You know, we've got one particular company down in the southwest. They might take theirs over fields, through farm lanes, through everywhere. And a van pack just probably wouldn't cut it because by the time they've got water on board, they're probably going to be a bit too heavy. So what they do is you can actually tow more of a total mass with a unladen van and a trailer. So for them, it works better because they can take a trailer jetter, tow that behind, and then have a van with all their tools in. But a lot of the time, it is just geographic. I can't. There's not many drainage companies in London will tow a trailer around just because of the volume of traffic and the amount of traffic that's there. And which is why you see a lot of, predominantly in Europe, it's van packs, because there's another thing we see a lot of is lowered car parks and underground car parks, because space in any of the big cities is at a premium, and you can get these things in an under 2 metre high sort of transit type vehicle, get it an underground car park, go do all the car park drainage, all the stuff, the services you don't see, but we need to be maintaining, and you just wouldn't be able to do that with a trailer jetter.
Awesome. And we got Eduardo out in California, Spartan for life. Eduardo, thanks, man. We really appreciate you. Congrats on your Soldier. That's I saw some pictures yesterday. Good looking rig, man. Congrats on that one.
Special edition Soldier too.
That's right.
He's got one of one in the whole country. So Eduardo would enjoy that. All right, Mark. I know you got to get back to work here. So final thoughts for our viewers.
Final thoughts. So one of the biggest things that I always say is don't take too much notice of what other people are doing. We do things very, very differently, and those that are bold enough to follow what we do and listen to what we say, you end up reaping the reward. So don't always assume because a book tells you need 4,000 at 19 gallon a minute to do a certain drain. Try some of this stuff out and see for yourself and see why we are doing what we're doing and why we are considered the number one in I suppose the world now between the two companies. Try it for yourself. And
make sure you have the right tools for that jet, and Brennan.
Absolutely.
A nice warthog on there.
Right now, Mark, makes all the difference.
Mark, listen, buddy, I appreciate you being on the show. It is always good to see you. I'm sure we'll be FaceTiming later. Our daughters are probably on FaceTime right now together. So thank you very much for being on, Mark, and thank you for all the support that you guys give us.
No, it's a pleasure.
Pleasure, mate. Good to see you as always.
Yeah, you too. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.
See you, buddy.
See ya, bye.
Awesome.
Emily?
There I am. Hey,
there
guys.
You are. What an awesome
What a great episode. So nice to have Mark on.
Yeah, like I said, I think he just said it. I mean, the dominance that they have in Europe and this partnership now with Spartan in the U.S., I mean, they've completely dominated the world at this point. So it's always good to see my buddy Mark. So, all right. Episode 6. Emily, what are we doing next week?
Well, we got a little teaser from Ann just a few minutes ago. We're going to talk about the right nozzle for the job. You don't want to put a crummy tool on your powerful Spartan jet. So we're going to talk with Ann and Frank at Warthog about their awesome nozzles.
Sounds like a good one.
We're really excited to get Ann and Frank on here again. Another great partnership that we've had for years and years. So, Eric, Emily, anything else for our viewers out there today?
Nope. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Make sure you don't do much this Sunday. Take it easy. Let the kids do the cooking.
I'll do my best.
Well, Colin, we'll talk about Colin after this. So.
Emily, happy Mother's Day. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. Sewer Raiders, signing off.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.